So go traders, how are you guys doing? And I hope you guys are having an amazing trading. So last week was quite a one, right? Um, this was what we told you guys to look out for in the week, right? We were expecting for gold to come back down into this level and then push up, but again, gold just pushed up and just started going up as the week started, and we didn't get any opportunity to get in as we hoped to get in, right? So throughout the week, we didn't really take any trade except for this point here. So we took a trade here. I took a trade here. Um, if you go to the 1 hour, you see the reason I took a trade there. All right, let's delete this first, and then we're gonna have to be very fast with today's video analysis because I just need to make this quite short, very short. So we'll go to the 1 hour. I think I need to also delete this. So let's go to the 1 hour so we can see why I took a trade there. Let me just break that down for you guys. Even though it's not the kind of perfect point or level I would have loved to, I would have really loved for gold to have pushed down even lower, right, and then give me the formation at a much more lower point, but it happened here, right? So I saw this inverse heads and shoulders right here, and I saw how price had broken, right? And so I came in somewhere around here. Okay, we got in somewhere around this point, and we held the trade to this point, right? I was hoping it will go, it will continue moving up from that point, but price didn't do that, so it started to drop after I swept this particular high right here. After I swept, it began to drop, and then I came out at break even. So that was just all I had last week, and nothing really. So let's see how it goes this new week. So guys, what are we going to be looking out for right now on gold? Now, if you're a gold trader, you should already know that the only thing you're going to be doing on this chart right now is just looking for buying opportunities. You have to stay away from sells, right? Because the more you keep trying to sell in this market as is aggressively bullish, you're just going to most likely keep losing money, and you don't want to take unnecessary losses. I always say this every time. All right. So now let's do the top down analysis, and let's start from the monthly time frame. Now, looking at the monthly, what we have here, we can clearly see, let me bring this down. We can clearly see how bullish gold has been. All right, and now a new month has started. Let me remove this. A new month has started right here. Okay, and what do we expect? Gold is most likely going to continue pushing upwards, and I mean, this is quite shocking for me because I didn't expect that gold would just push up like this so sudden after this whole consolidation that happened right here. But looking at what's happening, gold pushed up already. The month of September closed very bullish, and now in the month of October we might continue to see the bullishness, right? But how far is it going to go? I don't know. We don't know. We just only use the information given to us on the charts to come up with different probabilities, right? So now normally I would say that I would expect gold to drop down at least close to the 50% level of this previous month. But looking at the way price is moving and knowing gold very well, gold could most likely could actually not do that, right? We could just see gold just come down just a bit like this and then start pushing up, which it already has done that sort of, right? Came down to 3825 level and then began to push up, and it looks like it wants to continue pushing up. So let's go to the weekly. Let's see what things are looking like there. Now, looking at the weekly, same thing. Gold is still very much bullish. Let me leave that. Gold is still very much bullish. So we should be looking for price to still continue in its bullishness in the next week. Now, I would say, like I said, gold should come down to the 50% level of this previous week. But again, that might not happen. That might not happen. Now, we could see gold come down, right? Let me just put that there because we still need to take those levels into consideration, especially on the weekly. All right. So now looking at the weekly charts. All right. So we can expect expect gold to come down to this level. I'm thinking of the right words to use, right? So we can expect gold to come down to this 50% level right here. That's possible, but like I said, that might not happen. We might just see gold come down just a little, and I think we might see it on the daily. Gold come down a little and then continue its move up, right? We might not see gold reach this level. But if gold reaches this level and starts to give us rejection from that level, that's not bad, especially if it now comes down to this particular level right here. Okay, that's also not bad. Okay, so let's go to the daily. Let's see what the daily is looking like. Let me remove this one. So now this is what we have on the daily. Very good. Now on the daily, we can clearly see these levels here are just like steps, right? So now what should we expect? Like I said, gold might not come down to this 50% level that we have here. This first mark that we have over here, this first line, is the 50% level of this previous week, right? And this level is this key level right here. Now gold has already come into this level and tapped into that level, so we might not see gold coming all the way down into this point. Now if gold does that, that's not bad, all right, because the more it drops, the better it gives us a much more solid opportunity to get in. The more it gives us a much more solid opportunity to get in for a buy, and that's going to be a good one, right? We can hold it and then continue to push up, right? But like I said, we might not see that happen now, right? We might not see that happen. So what can we now look out for then? If we are not sure if gold would come down to this point, this first level and the second level, where could we now see gold come down to? Now this is what I have in mind, right? We could see gold come down to the 50% level of this previous day, this last day candle, right here. Now let me mark that out so we see what that level looks like. That's it. I need to be fast with this. So as you can see here, this now makes sense. Now you can see that this level right here, you can see this 3-4 days, right? These 4 candles that we have here, you can see how they closed. They closed, or rather the last 2-3 candles before this, the previous, you get what I'm saying, this red candle, this other ones before it, look at how they closed. They closed just right around this level, 38666 level, right? 3866 level, right? So that means this level right now, you can see, is acting like a support level, right? So there's a tendency for us to see gold come down into that level and then begin to reject upwards from there. So we could see something like this, and then gold will continue to move up. That's very possible. So instead of coming down to this level, we might see gold reject from here, right? So let's go to the 4-hour. Let's see what it's looking like. Now this is the 4-hour. All right, so like I said, we could see gold come down into this level. Now looking at this, it makes sense, right? It makes sense, especially after this whole liquidity and this whole rejections that we have up here. So once we see gold come down like this, we might begin to see gold to reject upwards, and they might give us an opportunity, and then we could now take the buys and continue with the push up. All right, but like I said, if gold actually really drops, I would really like that. I would really like to see gold really tank, honestly. But if it doesn't do that, then fine. Now look at the 3 levels we've marked here, right? You guys can see them, this first one, the second one, the third one. So if gold comes into this level, we start to see the rejections. We might see the opportunity to get in. We get in for the buys. If it doesn't hold this level and then comes lower, it might come into this level, and this way we might now begin to look for. If this level doesn't hold, then definitely maybe this is the next level. But the whole point is, when we mark out these levels for you guys, we're not telling you to just get in on the trade the moment price gets into that point. You need to have certain conditions that you look out for. You understand what I'm saying? So when price gets into that zone, we're going to watch the movement of price and watch what price is doing, right? And the moment price gives us the things that we are looking for, begins to create a certain kind of formation or patterns, right? Then we will now know whether or not we're going to get in on the trade, or we're just going to stay away from the charts. All right, so but looking at what we have here on the 4-hour, things are looking quite okay. So gold will most likely come down into this zone, and they might give us an opportunity to get in and continue in this bullish move upwards. So let's just see how it goes, though. Let's see how it goes. Now let's go to the 1-hour. Now this is also, the 1-hour is quite interesting too, because now I hardly do this, right? I really have not done this on the on this analysis, right? So as you can see here now, this is like a trend line. Now you got those of you who use trend lines, right? This is like a trend line, right? So and if you look closely, you see that there's some sort of a heads and shoulders right here too as well. Okay, now we could say that the heads and shoulders has already been tested right here. All right, I saw this then, but didn't take it, right? So this is like a head and shoulders. So it's possible that we might see another test down into the zone, and then we see the rejections again. The most important thing is when price comes down into the zone, we're going to wait. Once we see the kind of rejections that we need, right, on the lower time frames, then we're going to go in for our buys, and then we'll continue with this push up. So let's just see how it goes. That's the only thing I can say. All right, there's no major change of character, right, downwards. So those of you looking for sales, you need to really be careful, right? Don't just go losing money on the markets. So I think that's all I can just say on this. Nothing really much. I just wanted to be really fast with this. So guys, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Let's go back to the daily. Let's see how it goes. All right, so I'm really really optimistic about this trade. So let's see if gold comes down into the zone, we'll probably will go get in for buys from this level, and then the bullishness will continue. So hope you guys do have a wonderful trading. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video and share with others. Try to make your trading simple. Don't complicate things, all right? And that's why when you watch our videos, it's quite simple. Go straight to the point, and then we show you what we're looking at. Peace out, guys. Bye.